Good evening, friends. Let us be still for a moment. Breathe, turn within, stop everything. In the hush of this instant, there is a truth, rarely shouted, often whispered, that can transform your relationship with Jesus, not by adding anything to you, but by unveiling what's already here. We are not gathered to get God to move. We are here to become aware of the presence that never left. When you stop reaching outward and awaken inward, prayer shifts from asking to witnessing, from effort to encounter. If this resonates, please like the video, subscribe, and comment 777 to seal your intention and stand in faith with this community. Stay close, because in a breath, I'll share the quiet sentence that unlocks this reality, and once you hear it, you may never look for Jesus outside yourself again. The sentence is simple. The kingdom of God is within you, not ahead of you, not behind you, not in a special building or a sacred geography, but here now, as the very life of your life. Seize the restless reach for signs and sensations. Let the hunt for spiritual fireworks fall silent, and notice the quiet aliveness already present. The Christ you seek is not a far-off visitor. Christ is the very light of awareness, the presence revealing itself as your being. When you stop outsourcing your salvation to people, places, and performances, a holy reversal occurs. Instead of attempting to bring God to you, you awaken to the one who never left. The prayer of effort gives way to the prayer of recognition. You do not manufacture divinity, you bear witness to it. This inner recognition is not a mood or a mantra. It is a felt clarity, a steadying hush, a center that does not get pushed around by circumstance. Turn gently within. Breathe with reverence. Place attention not on the noise of thought, but on the one who is noticing the thought. Sense that subtle, luminous I that is prior to every story about you. Do not try to define it. Let it be. As you rest there, you may discover that peace is not something you import. It is something you uncover, the native atmosphere of your being when you stop arguing with the moment. This is what it means to realize the Christ within, not adopting a superior identity, but yielding to the divine life that animates all. The vine lives through the branch. The light shines through the window. Your task is not to brighten the sun, but to open the shutters. In practice, that looks like this. Each time you catch yourself chasing a feeling, a sign, a guarantee, pause and return to the simple awareness of presence. Close your eyes for a breath. Feel the aliveness in your hands, your chest, your feet on the floor. Whisper inwardly, "Here I am." Then be quiet. No pushing, no pleading, no bargaining. Let thought come and go without granting it the throne. The very willingness to rest is faith in action. Outwardly nothing changes in that instant, yet inwardly the axis shifts from anxiety to assurance, from seeking to seeing. As this becomes your posture, you will notice a subtle authority arising, not over others, but over the impulses that once ruled you. Temptations to hurry, to fix, to prove, lose their magnetism. You begin to recognize that companionship with Jesus is not achieved by miles traveled or tasks performed, but by shared life. Christ within becomes the teacher, the healer, the guide, speaking in quiet intuitions, simple obediences, and unexpected compassion. When fear flares, return again. When doubt mocks, return again. When success tempts you to rely on your own brightness, return again. The practice is not dramatic. It is faithful. Over time, you realize you are not trying to reach God at all. You are letting God reveal Himself as your very life, here and now. And in that revelation, the search ends, because the seeker and the sought are found as one. Keep noticing, keep yielding, until even ordinary moments disclose the holy nearness that has been waiting all along within. From here, prayer softens from striving to seeing. Instead of trying to persuade heaven, you lean into the hush that is already present. The heart discovers that asking has its season, but awareness is the deeper current. When you sense the nearness of the presence, words become fewer, gentler, more like leaves settling on a still pond than stones thrown for effect. Begin by letting prayer be a place, or not a performance, an inner room where you step out of noise and stand in quiet attention. Sit, breathe. Let the sentences that want to fix, win, or guarantee slowly dissolve. If a phrase arises to steady you, here I am. Father within, your will. Use it like a handrail, then release it. Allow attention to turn back on itself, noticing the simple fact of being aware. Rest in that clear, living awareness without arguing with it or decorating it. This is not passivity, it is the highest form of participation. You are consenting to be taught from within. Asking tries to add, receptivity makes room. Asking insists on an outcome, receptivity obeys in presence and lets outcome be shaped by wisdom larger than the mind. In this hush, you do not abandon your needs, you lay them open without command, trusting the one who knows them more truly than you do a simple practice. Take 3 conscious breaths. On the exhale, set down your narratives and negotiations. On the inhale, receive the gift of this exact moment. In the pause between, listen, no forcing, no fishing. If thought pulls you into problem-solving, notice it as a cloud and let it pass through the spacious sky of awareness. Return to the felt sense of aliveness. Hands warm, chest open, the subtle glow behind the eyes. As you stay, guidance often arrives not as thunder, but as a fine thread, a quiet yes or no. A picture, a sudden ease where there was strain. A small next step you can honor without drama. Sometimes nothing comes but peace, and that is guidance too, because peace is the atmosphere where wise action ripens. You learn to distinguish the tug of fear from the tone of the spirit. Fear is urgent and loud. The spirit is clear and unhurried. Notice how even petitions change in this light. Instead of, give me this, the heart whispers, show me what is true here. Instead of, remove this, it becomes, reveal yourself in this. You are no longer trying to bend reality to preference. You are letting your seeing be healed, so that reality can disclose its hidden grace. This is the prayer that moves mountains within, and then mountains outside find their rightful place. Carry this posture into the ordinary. In a hard conversation, let there be a 3-second sanctuary before you answer. In a crowded schedule, let there be a minute where you sit at the edge of the bed and feel the breath. In a decision, place the options like offerings on an inner altar and wait until one becomes simply luminous. The more often you choose silence, the more naturally you will speak from it. Over time, you will recognize new fruit, words fewer and kinder, reactions slower and wiser, an ease that does not depend on circumstances behaving. You find yourself guided to make calls you had postponed, to apologize without self-defense, to say no without guilt, to say yes without fear. You see solutions you missed while you were busy demanding solutions, because grace loves uncluttered rooms. When dryness comes, do not judge it. Sit anyway. Receptivity deepens in seasons when nothing seems to happen. The soil doesn't shout while the seed takes root, it simply holds, quietly faithful, open to the rain that surely comes. So when the sky darkens and the wind rises, the soil doesn't argue with the weather, it keeps its quiet trust. In the same way, when circumstances surge and flash, give them no borrowed authority. Appearances are like waves dressed as giants, loud, moving, dramatic, but they are still waves, not separate from the ocean. Do not let the spectacle of form decide the truth of spirit. Rest your weight in the one presence that does not come and go, the invisible constancy by which all coming and going is known. What are appearances? Reports, symptoms, balances, headlines, moods, forecasts, praise, blame, everything that presents itself as final and demands your fear or your worship. They are data, not destiny, phenomena, not principle. To give them power is to forget the source, to hand the steering wheel to the passenger. The one presence is the life law, and love that undergirds all being. It is not a concept you use to edit reality, it is reality unveiling itself as your very seeing. This is not denial, it is right appraisal. You are not pretending the storm isn't here, you are refusing to enthrone the storm as sovereign. Let the picture be what it is without letting it define what God is. Inwardly say, There is one presence, one power, one life here. And feel for the stillness that sentence points to. Breathe until your nervous system remembers that truth does not need volume to be true. Practice this in the instant reaction flares. A text arrives that spikes your pulse, pause. A diagnosis pulls at your peace, pause. An account dips below safety, pause. Place a hand on your chest, steady your attention, and return to the awareness that notices all this. Let fear have its sensation without granting it interpretation. Do not argue with the picture. Turn instead toward the light by which the picture is seen. From that resting, clarity begins to separate signal from noise. You may be led to call the doctor, to set a boundary, to ask for help, to change a habit. But now action rises from alignment, not panic. Grace does the heavy lifting while you attend to the next faithful step. Often the picture softens or shifts. Sometimes it does not immediately. Either way, authority is reclaimed within, and that regained center is itself a door through which solutions arrive. Train the eye of the heart to look beyond surfaces. Like learning to see a constellation in the night sky, you relax the stare that hunts for dots and allow the pattern to appear. In conversation, listen past the words to the hunger beneath, past the anger to the ache, past your defensiveness to the presence holding both of you. In finance, look past numbers to the source that multiplies wisdom and opens channels you could not have predicted. In the body, look past symptoms to the life animating each cell with intelligence and care. When the mind shouts, "But what about?" let that be your cue to turn again. The mind is trained to grant ultimacy to the latest image. You are being retrained to grant ultimacy to God. Each time you withdraw power from the picture loses its spell. You do not stare down the shadow, you turn on the light. You do not command the sea to be glass. You remember you are in the boat with the one who is peace itself. A simple phrase can serve as a bell, only the presence as power here. Whisper it inwardly, not to hypnotize yourself, but to reseat attention in what is already real. Then wait a moment longer than you want to wait. Let the breath lengthen. Let the shoulders drop. Let the heart beat steady. In that unhurried space, notice how love returns to the room and how wisdom, unforced, begins to speak in a voice you can trust from. That trust, learn to let grace, not willpower, do the work. Willpower is the clenched fist of the soul. Grace is the open palm. Willpower tries to push the river. Grace notices the current and steps in. Willpower measures worth by outcomes and deadlines. Grace measures alignment by consent and timing. When you lean into grace, you stop auditioning for God and start allowing God to act as the life within you. You will feel the difference in your body. Willpower tightens the jaw, shortens the breath, and narrows attention until everything looks like an obstacle. Grace lengthens the breath, softens the shoulders, and widens the field until options appear that strain could not see. Willpower demands a guarantee before moving. Grace moves with a quiet confidence that provision lives on the path of obedience. Practice yielding in simple ways. Before you send the message, take one conscious breath and say inwardly, "I allow the presence to do its work here." Before you enter the meeting, place a hand over your heart and let the pace in your chest set the pace of your words. When plans tangle, whisper, "I release the outcome. Show me the next faithful step." And wait the extra beat where grace often slips in with a gentler route. Think of a sailboat. You can row hard in your own strength and make a little progress while exhausting yourself, or you can learn to set the sail. Setting the sail is not laziness. It is intelligent cooperation with a larger power. You position, you trim, you feel for the wind. Honesty sets the mast, forgiveness loosens the rope, listening finds the breeze, and then the wind does what only wind can do. Let this shape your work and your relationships. In a difficult conversation, willpower tries to win, grace seeks to understand and to bless. In a project, willpower micromanages every detail, grace does the clear next piece and trusts timing for the rest. In healing, willpower fights the body, Grace honors the body while welcoming the deeper life that animates it. Action still happens. Emails get sent, boundaries are set, medicine is taken, but the doer shifts from a separate self to the presence acting through a willing instrument, adopts small sentences that signal consent without strain. Let it be done through me. Spirit, do your own work here. I'm available. Use them like open windows, not like spells. Then watch for grace's signatures, an ease in the step you were avoiding, a call returned at just the right moment, and know that relieves more than it disappoints. A yes that comes with peace instead of adrenaline. These are not coincidences. They are the natural economy of a life carried more than it carries. Try a quiet experiment for a day. Where you notice pushing, release one notch. Where you notice clinging, loosen one finger. Where you notice rushing, arrive in your breath and let your pace match clarity instead of fear. If nothing seems to move, do the next simple thing that is clearly yours, then stop and listen again. Grace prefers uncluttered altars, rooms where obedience is light, motives are clean, and hurry has been asked to wait by the door over time. This posture rewrites the inner script from, I must make it happen, to, I will be faithful to what is happening. You become less impressed by struggle and more attuned to flow. You stop measuring your spirituality by effort and begin to notice fruit, quiet courage, timely help, solutions that bless more than one person at once, and the steady assurance that you are being carried even as you take the step that is yours to take. Let that assurance become a rhythm you practice in stillness and in motion. Stillness is the classroom where you learn the feel of presence. Action is the field where you keep company with it. Begin each day by sitting down, not to achieve a state, but to acknowledge the one who is already here. 5 unhurried minutes with your hands open, breath soft, attention resting on the simple awareness that notices breathing is enough to tune the instrument. Read a line of truth if it helps, then close the book and let the line read you. Listen for the subtle warmth that says I am. Carry that tone into motion. As you stand, as you walk to the sink, as you open the computer, keep a small inward bow. Let the breath be a bell, summoning awareness home. Use gentle cues woven into your day doorways as thresholds, stoplights as altars, passwords as prayers, the phone ring as a call to remember. Whisper inwardly, here you are and here I am. Then proceed without strain, trusting that remembrance itself is prayer. When conversations come, practice a 3-second sanctuary before speaking. Feel the soles of your feet soften your gaze, and notice the presence that holds both you and the other. Listen for what love is doing in the exchange. You will find words arriving with less heat and more clarity. When you write an email, let the first paragraph be composed in silence. Let intention be blessing, not pressure. When you plan, set the plan before the inner teacher and ask for the next simple, luminous step. In work that demands speed, learn holy pacing. Move efficiently on the outside while remaining unhurried inside. Let the center set the tempo. If anxiety spikes, step away for 1 minute and recover the felt sense of being aware. 2 or 3 such returns in a morning can change the quality of an entire day. Presence is not a task added to your list, it is the way the list is held. Practice also in the body. Walk as if the earth is holy and your feet are listening. Eat with gratitude, noticing texture and taste as gifts. If pain arises, acknowledge it tenderly, and then place attention on the quiet aliveness surrounding the sensation, letting the wider field hold the ache. The body becomes a chapel, not a project, a place where the indwelling life is met with respect. Let evenings gather what the day scattered. Sit again, not to grade yourself, but to return. Briefly review the day in the light of presence. Where did you remember? Where did you forget? Where did grace carry you anyway? Offer thanks without performance. Release what remains unfinished into wiser hands. Fall asleep inside the name, like a child at rest between faithful arms. Night does its own praying as you yield to it. Between stillness and action, keep one thread, gentle remembrance. Make every transition a tiny altar. The moment you stand up, the click that sends a message, the hand on a doorknob, the glance at a clock. Let these hinges whisper, "Stay with me." If you forget, smile and begin again. Beginning again is itself communion, a childlike turning that keeps the heart supple and the day porous to grace each moment. From here, living from oneness becomes practical. You stop acting as a separate self trying to reach God, you abide as a branch in the vine, letting the life of Christ do the seeing, speaking, and choosing. Oneness is not a theory, it is a center of gravity where the heart rests in the one presence and extends from that rest. When you move from this center, love is no longer an effortful behavior, but the natural climate of your awareness, and the people and problems you meet are approached inside that climate rather than outside it. Fear begins to lose its plausibility in such air. Fear shrinks the field, isolates you from wisdom, and demands guarantees before generosity. Love widens the field, reintroduces you to the source, and makes room for guidance to be heard. This love is not sentiment, it is clarity infused with warmth, the awareness of Christ in you seeing Christ in the other. When fear arrives, you do not fight it with slogans, you turn toward the presence and let love reinterpret what fear misread. Let a simple inquiry accompany you. What does love see here? Ask it softly in the hallway, in the car, in the meeting. Love sees the whole, not just the win. It looks for blessing, not merely victory. Often the answer is small and immediate. Make eye contact. Tell the truth without heat. Offer help without fuss. Wait one more day before deciding. Write the message that clears the air. These are doorways where guidance enters because love opened them. Oneness does not erase boundaries, it purifies them. A boundary set from fear tries to punish or control. A boundary set from love protects what is sacred and invites what is honest. Sometimes the loving move is a clear no that frees everyone to grow. Sometimes it is a patient yes that refuses to keep score. To test your motive, feel your body as you choose. Love's boundary leaves peace in the chest and space in the breath, while fear's boundary leaves tightness and a long echo of defense. Guidance in oneness often has these signatures. It is simple, it carries peace even when it stretches you, it blesses more than one party, and it can be acted upon today. If the mind is torn between options, place them on the inner altar and listen for which choice makes the heart quiet and the shoulders lower. Ask which step increases trust and integrity right now. Then take that one step and let tomorrow's light arrive with tomorrow. Let this be embodied. Soften the gaze in conversation, choose an open stance, breathe from the belly. When anxiety spikes, place a hand over the heart and say inwardly, I am safe in the one. Bring to mind someone difficult and bless them without commentary, not to excuse harm, but to keep your own heart clean enough to hear. Practice noticing moments when love volunteers an action before thought drafts a strategy, and let yourself follow that volunteerism with humility and courage. Community becomes sacrament in this way of seeing. You recognize yourself in the weary cashier, the impatient driver, the friend who disappoints. What you answer not with superiority but with shared belonging. In that belonging, creative solutions surface. A compromise nobody saw, an apology that breaks a stalemate, a spontaneous generosity that shifts the atmosphere.